Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Marketing Mensch. My name is Darren Elliott, and thank you for joining me for this topic, which we're going to talk about today, AI content. Consulting for a lot of businesses, I've come across AI content quite a bit. A lot of business owners are using it, and I don't think that that's such a bad thing, but it's how we're using it that I want to, give you guys the insight about if you're going to use it, that's fine, but let's use it the right way. And I'm going to talk to you about Google's SEO guidelines that came out February of this year, 2024. So I want to share with you those guidelines. So let's get started. However, before we do, I'd love it if you guys would subscribe to this channel. When you do, you'd be notified of any new Marketing Mensch videos. They're all short order videos, or at least I try to keep it that way, and filled with lots of information, and it's all free. Also, you can collaborate on a platform filled with marketing tips, tricks, and strategies. And again, that's all free. And you can submit your questions to me, and hopefully you'll submit it. And when I choose your question, then you will be featured on my next Q&A. So you can go ahead and email darren@unetdesign.com if you have a question. So let's get started. So we're going to be talking about AI content and Google's SEO guidelines. For now, if you're using AI content, this is what you need to keep in mind. All right, so let's just do a little back history. So it was back in November of 2022, ChatGPT came out, gave us an opportunity to create content quickly, easily, answer our questions, produce long-form articles. A lot of great things came from that. A very powerful content building platform for sure. However, some people would argue that it's a deceptive tool. And, I believe it is. I believe it can be. If you don't put the time in, and we'll go into that, but if you don't do the right things, then yeah, you just basically had AI generated content, write your essay for college or high school or whatever, and that's deceptive. But also when we use it in our marketing, that could be deceptive too. So these guidelines have a lot to do with people first, writing for people first. So we'll talk about that. But then, in 2022, there weren't really a lot of SEO rules in place to set a standard for AI content, and then others came along. So now it's definitely here. We're using it, and I'm happy to see that there are guidelines being placed on AI content. So before I start there, let's talk about a pro tip. It is an excellent tool. I will say that AI content generators are an excellent tool when you have writer's block. So if you need to kickstart your thoughts, you're looking at a blank screen or piece of paper, it's a great way to get started and then use that to build from, in your own words. So that's just a pro tip that I'd like to share with you. Google is now setting the bar for SEO. Like I mentioned, it was February 2023 when they came out with that, and it basically sets the standard on the quality of the content. I mentioned people first. That is considered the guideline now for AI content. We're writing for people first, not so much on the SEO formula and how we're producing the content. So you'll see in upcoming episodes, I'll be talking about the SEO formula when we develop content so browsers can better index the page. But although we still need to keep that stuff in mind when we build any of our content, and especially now with AI content, they're looking for that balance. They want to see that people first guideline being met. So the other thing is that the absence of these standards AI content is easier to detect and which will downgrade your content. So if your site is 100% AI content generated and it doesn't meet these guidelines, then you will be lowered in visibility and in credibility. So the thing to do is that if you're having someone develop your content, I think it's great practice to get one of the apps where you can detect AI content, because a lot of people are just taking shortcuts. Employees, content writers, so many people out there that are generating content that we think is original content, but it's AI content. So I want you to protect yourself and get one of those AI content detectors, and then you can see whether or not it is legitimate content, written custom for you. Now, it's okay if you want to use AI content, like I said, but just add these guidelines. You have to put your brand and other things into this content. So that's why it pays to go back and backfill this stuff, because AI content doesn't do that. All right, so So where is AI content usually found? It's usually found in blog posts, like in titles and introductions and emails. It's great for writing engaging or enticing subject lines or call to actions or introductions. It's really a great tool to use for these things. Web content, I'm not so much of a big fan of that, but it is used for the copy, meta tags, product descriptions. It's also used for social media posts and captions. I do like that. Anything that you could, engage someone, entice them over, breadcrumb them over to the website. I think that that's fine, but when you're using it 100% just exclusively to write your articles, to write your content, just remember that's a general database that you're pulling from, and you're missing a great opportunity to put your own stamp on your content when you let AI generated content write it for you. So, and then also video descriptions and scripts. We use AI content for that as well. Now, the AI content is an excellent resource for developing engaging titles and teasers. I would definitely recommend that you use AI content to help inspire you to write those engaging titles and breadcrumb headers that will bring people over to your website. So again, I feel there's nothing wrong with doing that. Now, AI content, what it is missing that you need, and this is where I say you have to go back and you have to backfill the AI content. First of all, it's not going to hold the energy of your voice, the voice that you created for your business. So keep that in mind. Also, the vibe of your brand. It's not going to capture that either. Remember, it's general information, right? So, and the humanistic value. I'm sure you've by now read enough AI content where you can detect, like, this sounds a little robotic or just very much on the surface. So it loses that humanistic value, which is also very important. And a very big one is the search language. There's no search language that your audience is using, right? Remember when I was talking to you about at the beginning of what's in your marketing toolbox, determining like your marketing mentality of your audience? Search language is a very important thing when you're writing content. And if you don't have the search language of your audience, then you're not going to bring over the audience that you want. You're just going to bring over you're going to funnel over the wrong people. So it's very important to go back and get these things put in place in your AI content if you're going to use it. But of course, there's more to it than that. I really stress to you, don't get lazy. I know it's so great where you can just put in, some inputs and it writes it for you. But you should go back and rewrite your AI content. You would be doing yourself such a favor in so many ways, maintaining your brand, engaging your audience when they're actually reading the content, and just being able to have the right content resonate with your audience. So please go back and update your AI content. All right, so let's talk about what AI can do for a business. And yes, there is a lot of good that it can do. Like I mentioned, it does overcome writer's block. It boosts productivity because it is a time saver. You know, it can bring some thoughts and ideas very quickly to the table. So it also helps, like I mentioned, write creative blurbs and headlines, as well as it helps us create sentences and paragraphs. But remember, even though it does help us write those paragraphs, you got to go back and you've got to customize them, okay? So you are able to use AI content acceptable to browsers. However, you must include the right inputs, meaning this people first, those inputs, as well as what I mentioned, the SEO formula. The titles, tags, and descriptions, you want to reinforce your key phrase in these certain areas in the back end. Now, if you feel like, oh, yeah, this is a lot to remember, or I don't know this stuff, then by all means, I offer pro guidance support. I'd be happy to consult with you or work right behind you, teaching you how to do this stuff. So I offer one-on-one pro guidance. Go to my website, www.unetdesign.com, and you'll see all my DIY, do-it-yourself, self-guided programs, because it's all about empowering you guys. And I really want to teach you guys how to do all this stuff on your own. All right, so anyway, the Marketing Mensch, that concludes the first part of the Marketing Mensch. So this is a part 2 episode. We're going to be talking more about the guidelines. I'm going to go into it further. But thank you so much for joining me on this first episode. And if you do have any questions, by all means, write in. I would love to hear them. I will answer them. Go ahead and write to Darren@unetdesign.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. All right, until part 2, take care, Menches.